Meta is going to start, and they have already started, um, offering free, ad-free,
Mhm.
experiences on Instagram and Facebook. Ad-free, which is like what? It's like what? Like okay, it's a lot of things to break down around it, right? A lot of things to break down around when we say ad-free, because that's a huge way that businesses are pushing themselves out right now. A lot of ways that people are kind of like, building not only their small businesses, but their personal brands and selling
Mhm.
products, et cetera, et cetera. And when I say that to you, when I say, all right, this is something they're already testing. They have test groups that are going to charge $14 a month for mobile only, ad free, and then if you want to add desktop, I think it's gonna be $17. And they're already doing this in the UK. What's your first impression when I say that to you?
I think that it's long overdue. Like that's what all streaming platforms are doing and stuff like that. Now, my only thing is, right, say you pay the $14 and you have an ad-free, quote unquote, ad-free Instagram account, right? If if me and you both have the ad-free one, right, and we're
Mhm.
both promoting our businesses, like what's the difference between that and running an ad on the free version, right? Like, because people
Mm.
mainly use social media nowadays to promote their, like you said, to build their business, promote their brand and stuff like that. So if I'm paying for an ad-free one, but people are still promoting their businesses, that's still essentially an ad. It's just not money behind it, right? So I'm just curious to see like what kind of controls or what kind of features they have for that, because regardless if it's ad-free or not, people are still going to use it to build, to promote themselves and to build their business. So I'm just curious to see like how that's going to work with that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
exactly. It's like that. You know what? You brought up a great point. It's like, so even if I pay for this ad free version, guess what CJ is going to do? He's still going to promote Fitness Online University in his
right.
posts. We're still going to talk about Ebony Fit Weekend. We're still going to talk about, what you offer in your webinars, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we're still going to talk about it. So, yeah, like you're paying for the ad-free experience from Meta. So basically, Meta is not going to be forcing these ads to you, basically, right?
Mhm.
But to the whole simple point, like you're saying, it's like, this is going to now flood, all these people are just going to be flooding the normal content feed with
Mhm.
ads instead of just like, so you may be paying for it, but you're still going to get it, just not in the traditional way, right?
Right, 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 exactly. And then I'm curious to know too, if I pay the $14, am I gonna get the chronological feedback? Right? Like, is it gonna go back to how it was before,
Mm.
where like now, 100% or 90% of my followers are gonna see it now? Which I'm assuming it would have to be that way if I'm paying money, right? It couldn't be where I pay and only 10% is still seeing it. So I think that
Mhm.
would probably be the best benefit from it would be that all of your audience, I mean, I would hope so, that like all of your audience gets to see your content now. So I'm just curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, I see in the audience we got Deb is like, what? She got she got the shock faces up there. Um, a lot of things come to mind when I heard of this, and I was like, okay, couple of things. One, it's something I've preached on, not just the YouTube thing, but for years now to people that will listen. It's like social media, and we even talked about this before. I think the last time you were on here, social media is not going to always be free,
Right.
and it's like, we, even though we say right now it's not free, it's really not, because you have to invest time, money, and effort, and to edit the reels, and like your time is not free, but essentially you can post and go viral without putting money towards it, right? Essentially you could, but the days of you just saying, hey, oh, forever, 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 this is Instagram is free, TikTok is free. Like, I never seen that as the long-term thing.
Mhm.
I've never seen it like, there's always another fee coming. There's always a way. Not now that we got billions of people on these apps, it is
Mhm.
ingrained in our lives for like a decade now. They're not okay, cool. We're just gonna enhance your experience by charging more, and then it's going to be more and more and more. Because think about it, we even talked about it last year when they started charging for badges.
Right.
Like, it was just the beginning. It was just the
Mhm.
beginning.
Yeah, nah, you're right, bro. And also to piggyback off of that is like, I don't know if it'll ever be a point where you have to pay. I think there will always be a free version, but with the free version, is always going to compress like I said, people being able to see your posts, right? Because that's essentially what the whole platform is for. So going to cater it so that you're kind of forced to, if you're not going to run ads, you're going to boost a post, right? And I saw something, I think it might have been like last week, it was an article about like how they made like, I don't even want to say the number, but I think it was like billions off of just boosted posts, not even just ads, like just people boosting the post. So like boosting is becoming a thing now because again, everything is suppressed now. Like less than 10% of your followers are seeing it. So you're kind of forced to spend money with the platform now. So yeah, you might have the free version, but if you're using it to monetize and to grow your brand and your business, you're going to be forced to spend money now because just doing it straight organic is just going to be non-existent at that point. So I think there's always going to be some kind of cost to it. Now, another way around that could be to allow them to track, right? Because when you allow them to track, now you're not so annoyed by ads because now the ads are going to be catered towards what you engage with online. That's the whole purpose of, you know, when you download a new app and ask you, will you want this app to track? Yes or no? Most people say no, right? But when you do that, now it's like a guessing game of, okay, what, like there's never a question of, are we going to run ads or not ever in history, right?
Yeah.
Now the question is, how do we cater the ads towards each specific user? So if you allow them to track you, it'll make your experience on social media a lot better because now they can cater ads towards you and it'll give you a better experience versus you just seeing a bunch of random ads that you're not even interested in, right? I'm not saying people would do that. I don't think I would do that. But that's why it's there for that reason specifically.
No, you brought up some good points. Like, I'm really curious, like you mentioned too, like what are the settings going to be around these? Like how can I enhance my experience through this? But more so than anything, like you said, the chronological order, is that coming back? Right? Is it something at least I can turn on? Is it my choice now?
Right.
I'm going to be paying this money. Can I at least choose to just see, all right, I just want my friends in the order that they posted, not just who you think I want to see. They try to play with the features and try to say, hey, you can just see the feed for who you're following versus who's recommended. You can, but nobody really knows. Now, honestly, most people don't change it. Most people just kind of leave it. You don't change it, right?
Yeah, I don't change it.
Because you feel like you're boxing, like, okay, now I'm only seeing the people. Like, it's weird. I do want to only see the people that I want to see, like I follow, but I don't just want to see them. I will also want to be fed every now and then a different interest or different something. You know what I mean? Because if I just see the people that I follow, then at that point, then I might get a little bored because usually they're posting the same type of things over and over and over. And that's a whole different conversation for another day. People posting the same thing, whereas it gets boring and stale. But
I agree.
And so, like, when it comes to this, like, one of the reasons too I wanted to talk to you about this, like, I feel like sometimes there's seasons and stuff, and we have to take advantage of them for what they are. And this is the digital marketing space, social media space. Like, what the conversations we're having right now, it couldn't even have existed 12 years ago, 15 years ago, like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like everything is changing so fast. Right now is no better time than to get into the ads game with Don. Let him, like, let's grow, let's scale as fast as we can while doors are wide open before there's more variables in the mix. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, bro. And I don't know if this is like one of the topics that you're going to touch on, but like Meta, they just announced again that they're going to be removing more interest from the actual ads manager. So they're starting to lean heavy on their AI that they have. So it'll start making it a lot easier for people to run ads too. So people that are like, man, setting up ads is too confusing, it's too hard. Like, what do I do? Now they're like removing a lot of that heavy lifting. So then you could just go in there, select a few things, publish the ad, and then kind of just rely on the AI to find your ideal customer too. So to your point, yeah, it's a great time to hop into ads. And to my point that I just made a couple minutes ago is you're going to be forced to do it anyway. If you're relying on it to build your brand and your business and generate leads and revenue, like it's going to come to a point where like you have no choice. It's either you pay somebody like me to do it for you or you learn how to do it yourself. Like, but there's going to be no in between.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Anybody ever asked me about ads, I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to be the expert at everything. I always say, my boy Don got you. I was like, he can either teach you and you can learn from him, or he
Mhm.
can do it for you. That's up to you. That's literally what I always push, no matter where I'm at, whether it's Fitness Online University or online. If I go to conferences, yeah, I got my guy. Boom, boom, boom. Just so you
I
know, your
appreciate
names
that.
are in rooms, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. Same, man. Like I try to just stay in my lane, bro. You know what I mean? Like ads has been a thing that I've been doing for about 6 years. And like you said, I like to teach it too. You know what I'm saying? Like I I'm a firm believer in it's just something that you have to do. Like I'm not saying you have to be an expert at it, but for your specific niche, your industry, your business, you should at least learn how to generate some leads and stuff like that for yourself. You don't have to be an expert at it, but definitely learn at least the basics and the principles so that you know you can sustain your business. So I appreciate that though, bro.
No, for real, for real. And let me just get to, because look, we got a fast paced show because we only got down for a little bit. So I'm gonna get to some other topics real quick too. So
So
and
let's do it.
we can always come to some other ones too later on. But real quick, here's the next one I want to bring up. So, and this is going to what you were just saying there. Instagram is desperate to make you pay to use this platform, and it's testing now a new service to boost your profile if you do so. So basically, if you're going to pay, right, again with the whole verified only, like we talked about earlier,
Mhm.
they're looking at giving it more reach. Right now, you know, the CEO has said at one point, well, right now it's not going to give you more reach, not going to give more reach, but now they're testing potentially the people with the verified paid accounts getting more reach. Like again, it goes to your point even more that they're going to find different ways to make it a reason for you to give money to them, I should say.
Nah, for sure, bro. And honestly, I feel like they should have already rolled that out. Like, if I paid for a badge, like I get it, it's for verification purposes, so people, you know, can't use your profile and scam. But it's like, bro, if I'm paying for this, it has to be more than just that. Like, and to be honest, that's what we all want out of the social media thing. Is like, bro, just let me show my post to everybody. Like, that's what everybody wants. We don't care about like all the other features are cool, but when you run a business or you're trying to promote your brand, like ideally, that's the number one thing that you want is more reach, more eyeballs on your videos, on your photos. So I'm surprised that they didn't roll that out already. Like they're kind of dragging their feet on that.
So I think the reason why is because they wanted to see the initial rush of how many people they can get to just buy into the blue check
Mhm.
of, like, first of all, the blue check is a whole vanity thing that Instagram is all vanity, and it's about I'm important because I have a blue check. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie, would I like a blue check? You want a blue check? We all want one, but it's also like, okay, what how do I get one? I wanted to get one just because of the work I've done. And so
right.
I publish and I put out like articles, and I've written for entrepreneur.com and all the things I've done in the fitness industry. And I submitted all of that to Instagram. And I said, hey, I'm pretty influential in the things that I've done and things I've kind of touched and what I can do. Can I get a blue check? And they deny me every single time. And I'm like, well, wait a
Mhm.
second. You got some people who've done way less or
Yeah,
nothing, and they just pay for it, and now they get the blue check and I don't. And I'm just like, this is a whole thing. And it's like, yeah, do I really want to give them 14? Now ask the people who pay for that $14 a month or $12 or whatever it is, if it's worth it to them right now. Most people will probably say, I don't. I know a lot of people who paid for it and they turned it off, bro.
yeah. Damn, really? I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the people that paid the thousands for it. You know, 5 years ago, just to make it a little cool.
Oh, the
How they
underground way
feel
to get
about
those checks.
it. Yeah, I wonder how they
They
feel. I'm like, damn, I
they,
could have
they
waited.
mad. Yeah, they're like, yo, I paid 5 grand just to kind of go through the back channels to get this check, and now y'all paying $14 a month. Like, man,
Yeah,
they got
yeah, yeah,
pissed.
yeah. Nah, it's crazy, bro. I feel like, yeah, I think it was just one of those things where once it first hit, it was like a topic, and then maybe like 2 months later, nobody really talked about it anymore. But um, like like me and you, I know we understand it, but I when it first came out, people were arguing and going back and forth about, oh, it's about status and everything. Like to me, it's not really about that. Like when they released what it was supposed to be, kind of like what you just said, to show your post to more people, it makes sense to buy that. Like if you understand how these algorithms and how social media just works in general, like I would pay $14 a month if I know I'm going to get the reach that I'm supposed to get. Like, I'm not going to buy it just to look cool and just to have like a status thing. I think that's stupid. But if it comes with these other things that benefit the business, then $14 a month is pennies compared to like the benefit that you get from it.
Right, right. And so, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, you know, as we go forward, what other things they're trying to like push out there. But in general, man, I would say this. The last thing I'll say on this part, you know, I understand the importance of security, and I get that is probably the biggest thing that are security of my account. So let's say if my account gets shut down or spammed or whatever, and I want to get it back up as soon as possible. I want to get it back in my control as possible. The access to their support team, the people who pay the $14, is what I would be paying for. It's kind of like paying for insurance, right? Insurance in case your car breaks down or something like that. That would be my biggest selling point, which I think they're missing. Because for creators, for business people like you, if you present it to us differently, not as a blue check, but as someone and say, hey, you know what, Don, you're making so many X thousands of dollars out of this platform a month. You have insurance on everything else in your business and your life and all this, boom, boom, boom. This is insurance for your page. It's presented differently. It's presented differently, and the value to you is higher at that point. The way it's even when I say it to you like that.
No, that's a good point, because at the end of the day, it's an asset, like your YouTube channel, your Instagram, like all of these platforms that you use to promote your business. The ones that you're monetizing from, it would suck to run up your Instagram page to a couple 100,000 followers and you making whatever 20, 30, 50,000 a month, and then they just take it away. Like literally, bro, it's like cutting your water off. So it's like, to your point, I didn't think about it like that, but that's a great point. It's like, just like you got insurance on your car and everything, if you're monetizing it, then yeah, you definitely should spend a couple dollars a month to make sure that you're protected and to eliminate any risk of losing it. You know what I mean? So that's a very good point.
That's why they call me the professor. You know, they call me the professor. I'm like somebody. I was like, hey, what's up, bro? I was like, congratulations on something the other day. They're like, thank you, my genius. I was like, oh man, you calling me a genius? I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
But
yep.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the next one real quick. And that is, this is interesting. Meta is now testing cross posting between Facebook and Threads. And Threads, as we know, was fast growing app last year. You know, it grew super fast. It was like, oh man, Twitter's in trouble, or now, you know, Twitter's now called X, they're in trouble. Boom, boom. Here comes Threads. I'm gonna ask you two things on this.
Okay.
One, do you use Threads consistently? And two, what do you think about Meta, you know, now testing this cross posting between Facebook and Threads? Do you feel like they're gonna kind of like force feed us Threads more this year?
Yeah, so for your first question, nah, I don't use Threads, bro. When it first came out, I played around and, you know, I might have posted maybe like 5 or 6 times on Threads, to be honest. I think it's dope, but it's like we got Twitter already, and it's gonna be kind of hard to compete with that. I mean, like Twitter is a staple, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to compete with that. So nah, I never really used it like that. I could kind of see the benefits of it, but I haven't used it like that. But and for your second question, why I think they're doing that, or if I think they're going to force feed it, I just think, kind of like to your point, bro, I think Threads is just something that they're struggling with. It was one of those ideas that didn't really pop like they thought it would. Facebook right now, believe it or not, is kind of picking up as far as like organic reach and stuff like that. So I see a lot of people that post on Facebook and they get a lot of traction from it. So I just think they're going to try to bring a different demographic to Threads as well, because like it's a whole other demographic on Facebook as well that probably never even heard of Threads or isn't even on it. So to me, honestly, bro, I think this is Instagram or Meta. You know, it's all the same thing. I think it's like their last shot at trying to push Threads. Like, and I think if this doesn't work, I think they might pull the plug on it, to be honest. Or unless they try to figure out, if that doesn't work, I think maybe the very last thing would be trying to get people to monetize Threads, right? Because like whenever there's money on a platform to be made, people are going to gravitate towards it. So if this doesn't work, I think the very last shot would be being able to monetize from Threads. I don't know if you can already or not, but I think that might be the last shot of Threads, if you could make money from it some kind of way. But But I do see threads pop up on my timeline sometimes when I scroll. I see people posting. So clearly, it's people that post on it still, but I don't think it really gained the traction that they thought it would. So I think this is like their last shot of trying to really get a different demographic on there to kind of make it pop.
Yo, it's interesting you said that because I would say this, you know, when it comes to actually let me take that in a little bit. You said it's like their last chance. It's kind of like you feel like, damn, this shit might be dead if it don't hit this time. Like this might be it. And I feel like when it first hit, it's something new, exciting from Instagram, and we already trust Instagram. We trust Meta, so we all jumped on it super fast. But now I need to see, I would say, a faster evolution of the app.
Right.
Because for me, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I love Twitter, and I would say still take Twitter because this whole X thing is still stupid to me. Like I get it. I was like, because if I say X, 80% of the people don't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So
it doesn't sound as smooth as Twitter. Like, let's just be real, you know,
bro. And it's just what it is. And then like, even if you Google something and you're like X, it doesn't come up right. It just doesn't. Like X account for da 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 da. It's like either some adult stuff or it's just something totally off because it's the letter X and it's not linked to,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a letter. It's not all right.
Exactly.
Let me digress. But my point is like, you know, with the whole Twitter thing, I love Twitter and it's becoming like this whole all-in platform. Elon is making an all-in platform. They have not only the conversations that we normally want to have and just read, because it's really the app where you just really read the most, or really think about it. There's no other app where you read like that, except for maybe
it's the newspaper. Ideally,
it's a newspaper, and you get quick information, quick conversations, but now you have video. You also have live. Right now, we're streaming live on YouTube, but we're also live on X. Also, they have audio rooms, so it's like an integration of what they have from a Clubhouse. You can do that on there. You can do that. It's Twitter Spaces. All these different things. It's like he's making it where now articles can be posted on there, all in your profile. Like it's so much there, and I love Twitter, and you know, like it's one of those things that I'm always on. But I'm also not surprised at how they monetize it the same way. Where you know they're the first ones who started with the paid verification thing.
They are. Yep.
I feel like they're a little bit behind. Like Elon is crazy, but it's kind of like these crazy geniuses. You kind of force the industry in a certain direction. And I think he's making it where like if you don't have everything like Twitter does, or X in this case, if you don't have everything, then you're falling behind. So Instagram, you know what they do. They let everybody put new features out and then they copy. They put new features out and then they copy.
Yep.
So in that case, I would just say, you know, Threads feels like it did when it first started. I don't feel like it evolved to me.
I agree because we already have a version of that, which is Twitter. It's like it's one of those things where it's like you can't really. It's like you either got to be the first or you got to be the best, right? And sometimes it's hard to be the best if you're not first. If that makes sense. Like Twitter was the first version of, like you said, like it's like literally the app that you read the most on, and it's been out since like what 2005 or something like that. So it's like it has such a loyal base already. So to kind of create something that's similar to that, it's going to be hard. Like again, you would have to be better than Twitter to do that. And it's like, how do you beat that already? Like they're number one and they're already the best. So I don't really know what the whole play behind that was. Like I would hope that Instagram or Zuckerberg wasn't trying to like compete with Twitter in that sense, because I mean, we saw it with Snapchat and it worked a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when they took the stories and they brought it from Snapchat, like that worked. But Snapchat was a newer platform at the time. It wasn't somebody like a Twitter that's been around for over a decade and has billions of users and stuff like that. So it was easy for them to take that idea and bring it over. And plus it fits their model. Like Instagram is a visual platform. So stories, it fits that. But like if I'm on IG and I'm used to looking at photos and videos, why would I want to go over to Threads where it's the complete opposite when I already have a Twitter? Like you're not going to get your Twitter for Threads. Like that would be crazy.
Nah. And then at some point too, there's the whole conversation of how many apps do you want to have on your phone.
That too.
It's like too many apps. It's like, yo, Instagram is close enough to Threads where I was like, I'm good with just Instagram. But yeah, Threads is there too. But do I really? How many places can I like right now? I'm using apps like StreamYard to broadcast in like 4 or 5 different places at once. And some point, it's like, yo, it's only so like the average person is not going to do like me, which is extreme. Because as a full-time content creator, to be able to put stuff out, invest in putting stuff out in different places, hiring somebody to help you post all this stuff, the average person is not going to do that. They're gonna like lock in with what it is. So this is